Hello and welcome to Disability in Screenwriting. This is our fortnightly fortnightly workshop that we do here on ScriptCamp, where we look at participants' characters that they're writing in their screenplays, and failing that, we look at disabled characters in film and TV, and we do writing prompts. So I'm sure more people will join shortly, and we'll be able to, look at people's characters. So let's just tell you a bit about what we do here. Disabilities are one of the most misunderstood and misrepresented minorities in the media, and that can cause real-world harm to people, to those minorities. People of any age, gender, religion, race, or socioeconomic background can be disabled, and yet that's not shown in the media. And so it's good to have more intersectionality in the media. In order for this workshop to run smoothly, we have a couple of guidelines in place. The essence of them essentially is make sure you're respectful to everyone and don't insult people. All questions are welcome as long as you ask them in a appropriate and you're not you're asking it in a proper way, with the right intention and that sort of thing. Sometimes questions are hard to ask, particularly if they relate to sensitive issues. So yeah, just try and keep it respectful. And we're all here to learn and improve. There are 5 types of disabilities: physical, intellectual, hidden, sensory disabilities, and mental health, and they are all equally welcome. And when we also, this is one of 2 workshops that we run. They sort of alternate each week. We meet Saturday 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, not 6 p.m., 4 p.m. British time, and we welcome disabled and able-bodied people alike. And we want to help you write better disabled characters. This is our disability in screenwriting group, and we will look at characters in screenplays. We may look at other characters in other forms of media, but we will try and ask you to wait until next week, and we try and prioritize screenplays here. Creating characters from prompts, sharing disabled experiences, and reviewing characters in existing TV and film. And perform sensitivity readings. Next week is our disability in fiction, and essentially it is the same thing, except we prioritize prose instead. So we want to focus on prose, and then we might look at other forms of media as well: comics, audiobooks. Not audiobooks, because that's basically prose, but other medias is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, we have a disability feedback channel, which we post writing prompts each week. I forgot to post it from last time, so that is my bad. I realized yesterday, a few hours before the deadline, I was like, maybe I won't post it now. But I will post one by tomorrow, I think, hopefully. I'll post one as soon as I can. And we'll give 5 coins to the winner, and chosen by me and or Willow, and every other participant will receive 2 coins. So you are encouraged to submit. We have one on WordCamp for a disability prompt there. So we encourage you to complete that. The deadline is Friday. To close this little section, here's our disclaimer. This is a safe space for everyone to talk about all aspects of disability, which means that we are open to discussing sensitive and potentially triggering topics, including mental health, addiction, trauma, and abuse. You're welcome to leave at any point if things are starting to get a bit heavy for you, because your mental health and emotional well-being always take priority over your attendance. Right then, all that being said, we've got a couple of people who have joined us. Welcome, Dachia and Gold. It's time for us to open the floor. If you have any Characters that you would like help with workshopping or anything like that?
I guess no one.
Doesn't seem like it.
No.
Yeah. If you do, if you don't, then that's fine. We can just move straight on to writing prompts. Or talk about any characters that you've seen in film and TV. Any disabled characters. If anyone wants to talk about something I've seen, hi Gold.
Nice to see you.
Hi.
Everybody's so quiet today.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're all listening.
Oh dear.
Going into listening.
I mean, this workshop is a workshop for a good reason. It's not a class. I don't like classes. Let's see if I can find something. I've got a list of like disabled characters. Let's see if there's anyone who's seen any of these disability workshop. That's the wrong one. Character reviews, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Let me put this up on screen. So here I have a nice list of disabled characters. If you see one that you want to talk about, feel free to just let me know.
Where's the list? Is it on your stream?
It's on the stream, sorry, yeah.
Okay. My Discord's slow. Oh my.
Mine
Well,
crashed
I put a
earlier
whole
too.
thing once on Daredevil's blindness that I thought was interesting. It's in my writing portfolio. But he's one of the people whose disability is not a disability a lot of the time. He switches from disability to super ability. But I think it's interesting how much they centered Woo Young Woo's the social aspect of her autism, when usually you get slightly socially awkward, eidetic memory, perfect skill set, which is it was really interesting how sensory issues were repeatedly an issue for her, and how the show was like, a lot of people are super duper prejudiced, and even if after they meet her and she does good work for them, they're still pretty prejudiced.
Okay.
It was interesting to center that in a comedy drama sentiment where the normal arc is, well, a disabled person did something and now they're good forever,
Mm.
or things just stop being an issue once you've like had an episode around it,
Yeah. Okay, so I've not seen Woo Young Woo. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that what The Good Doctor is? Like a adaptation
So
of?
she's an attorney who has autism.
Yeah, extraordinary attorney Woo Young Woo.
Extraordinary attorney Woo. It was
Okay.
my favorite show of last year.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty good.
And
But-
it is not the fact that it's not like, oh, this is a miraculous person and they're so good that everyone notices it. The fact that she is an employed attorney who has autism in South Korea has huge plot reasoning and ramifications. I won't spoil it because I won't recommend something and spoil it at the same time, but the show is based very strongly around why is she in this world, what is she doing in this world, and what is happening that makes it possible. With soap opera elements, but they're very rarely foregrounded. It's just you kind of switch between case of the week and personal life and an ongoing developing story.
Okay.
It's
After
also
this,
not saintly. There's also just like this is not a person. This is a person who has a huge central thing, and it's not. They have a personality on top of it that's hard to detangle, which is interesting.
okay, after this, I have a character I want to talk about.
Yeah, sure. Sorry. I was trying to look for The Good Lawyer because I feel like that Extraordinary Woo was adapted into The Good Lawyer, which is a spin-off off of The Good Doctor. But I don't think it is. I think I'm getting confused with something else. The Good Lawyer here is a relatively new program where the lawyer has OCD. And I've not seen it yet. I started watching The Good Doctor, which is okay, I think.
I thought
But
the
I
Good
think
Doctor was on Spectrum, not OCD.
yeah. So yeah, it was. I mean, I think The Good Lawyer is a spin-off, and the character there has OCD. I think that's what the link is. And they sort of used one of The Good Doctor's episodes as a spin-off, like a backdoor pilot to The Good Lawyer.
Which
yeah,
is
like
not
has.
related to the Good Wife or the Good Fight.
Oh no, I
Or the
don't
Good
think so.
Place. And it's not they're not the opposite. It's not related to Bad Moms or Bad Santa.
Oh no, no links there.
It feels like a natural nemesis for the Good Doctor.
Welcome, Dan. We're
Hi,
just
Dan.
talking about characters on this list, or actually any characters that you've seen recently.
I'm
that are
very
disabled.
surprised. I'm very surprised that you included Bochi.
That included
Bochi's-
what?
Bochi the Rock. Good
I think Willow
fucking
added this to the list.
Willow? Good job, Willow. Now that's some taste.
No, I think that was actually you, Lasagna.
Yeah, it was
I
actually,
did what
wasn't it?
now?
You helped us with this list.
I don't know.
I don't remember anything. Okay, I can see myself doing that.
But yeah. You can kind of see like who put what, because I put like the real life
Okay,
shows.
yeah, I did all the fucking anime things.
I think Willow did most of it, but you did something.
I was also the one who put Woo Young Woo in the first place, I think. So I did all the anime things, Woo Young Woo, and Beastly. I know I did Beastly. That shit was funny.
Yeah.
Beastly sucks. Oh, and Tinkerbell. Wait, or was that Willow? I don't know. It could be either of us.
I think like Joel Dude did the first bit. I came in like and did a bunch of the things in the middle, and then you came and
I
finished
came
out
off
a lot.
few. a few things. I can give you more things. Of
Oh, I would love to hear them.
Komi-san. Komi-san, she has like a communication disorder. She's just I wouldn't know what to call it. I think it's anxiety, but I also think that she's just mute or something. She just talks like if she does talk, it's like extremely quiet and no one can hear her kind of thing. Komi-san can't communicate is what it's.
Oh,
Not call me Sam. Let me type it in the chat.
I saw it. I added it to my watch list.
It's cute. Oh god. Oh, my caps lock went all over the place. Yeah, Komi can't communicate. Komi-san.
Now,
You better
wait,
delete
I
that.
just
That's
wanna
not what it's
clarify.
called.
Can't communicate or can't speak?
Because
those
can't
are very
communicate.
That's what the program's called.
Yeah, she's just bad at communicating. And I think it's anxiety. I think it's social anxiety. They just call it a communication disorder, so I'm like, okay. There's also something that I swear there's like this love story shoujo manga that was okay. We're probably just recommending shows and movies, so I'll leave the manga out of it, I guess. Let me look this shit up. I swear I would remember if I knew these things. Oh yeah, Josie, the tiger and the fish. She's a wheelchair user, and I need to watch that. I really need to watch that. Is a silent voice on here?
I put that on
Silent
there.
voice, yes.
Alright, cool. We're just expanding the list right now. We're not even talking about the characters. I could probably find other stuff. Oh, I know Gray would agree with this. Keep your hands off Azoken, because like one of the main characters seems very autistic coded. Gray would agree. Gray would agree if Gray were here.
Keep your hands off what?
Azoken. Let me type it.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm here to
And you
recommend
remind
all
me
the
of
fucking
another
animes.
one. There's another character who is very autistically coded. It's like a sitcom, I think. I not actually watched it. I don't know the characters' names, but one of the girls is autistic.
Oh my god, caps.
Characters.
There you go. I typed it. You have to put the exclamation mark. It's very important.
Z-O-U-K-E-N. I feel like I haven't spelled that right. And you said they're autistic coded.
Yeah, Asakusa is her name.
Be good if I could spell.
Yeah, autistic coded. Oh, Dairy Girls is good. I mean, I watched like one episode, but I liked it. Anyway,
Thank God for
right,
closed
both.
captions.
Huh?
Sorry, God.
Thank God for closed captions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
They do not compromise on the accents and slang on that show.
The island, aren't they? I can
Yeah.
understand island accents.
I understood them, but also I always have captions on no matter what, so it's fine.
Same, me too. It helps you hear better.
Yeah, it does. But right, Bochi, like very, very anxiety. Now that's fucking anxiety.
When she's
Just watching her. She even has the delusions of grandeur. You know, people. Okay, well, my brand of anxiety is you. You're fucking delusional, dude. You're delusional sometimes. Like her dreams of being like this rock star, she's like, okay, I know I have like social anxiety and stuff, but I swear, if I could just do this one thing, I'd become so famous. Kind of thing. And it's like, and then she makes a little small step towards it, like a small attempt, like bringing her guitar to class or something to seem cooler. And then it's like no one asks her about it, so she just gives up. So it's like trying your best to do this one tiny little thing that's like, this will get me noticed, and then I'll be able to talk to them normally. It's gonna be great. And then it's like, never mind. I give up.
Yeah.
Like, nothing actually happened, but I give up anyway.
Relatable.
And I think that's
yes,
lovely.
very.
I think that's absolutely lovely. Because it's just that, like me as a kid, I was like, I'm gonna become a great writer, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then like, obviously, social anxiety gets in the way, and like you can't
Yeah.
actually do anything to make strides towards it aside from like, be alone, do your own thing. So you're just sitting there like, I had all these delusions of like a successful future, but now I'm just sitting here like, oh, okay, oops. So
Yep.
I just love the ego that comes with her. I love the ego that she has, like the secretly just has a huge ego. And I feel like that should be represented more. Like, we're not ooh soft girls. We're fucking stupid. We're delusional. We're delusional and kind of cringe. Very pathetic, but also very sad. It's great. I love that sort of thing. I feel like the ego in people with depression and anxiety need to be highlighted, which is also highlighted in Watamote, but Bochi the Rock is like a more tolerable version of that anime, because that anime is like, holy shit, she's completely pathetic. She's kind of an incel. God, why am I watching this? Why am I watching this person suffer? Oh my god. It's the cringiest anime I've ever seen, but I can't stop watching. And I would also put her in there. Let me type the name. Anxiety. This is also anxiety. Watamote with anxiety. That thing.
I think that's on the list. Yeah, it is on the list. Yeah.
I'd probably put it there. Anyway. So you would have to have balls of steel to watch that one.
Balls of steel.
Balls of steel. You would
Oh, no.
have to have such a high cringe tolerance if you ever wanted to consume that one. So I would not recommend it. I would not recommend it.
Warm yourself up with the American Office and then a bit of the British Office to solidify yourself.
Yeah. You have to warm up to that, which is why you watch Bochi first, which is a healthy dose of cringe.
It's a sports drama about Italian lawn bowling, right?
So yeah, here's the hierarchy. Komi-san first, then Bochi, then Watamote. That's how you build up your tolerance, and that's how you become strong and powerful.
Remember in the Burger King racing game when one of the characters is the clerk and they say, "Here's the order: first me, then you."
First me,
My
then
favorite
you.
line of dialogue.
Perfect dialogue. But yeah, like,
really, whoever was forced to make a Burger King racing game that came with a Burger King meal really did put their all into the writing. It was pretty great. Also, I think one of the characters is Danica Patrick. That just tells you like what minute in 2006 that game came out.
Yeah. Oh! Another anime, Full Metal Alchemist, because prosthetic arm thing.
I've not watched it, but I've heard about that one. And some good stuff. That one has actually several.
Yeah, I haven't seen Full Metal Alchemist, but like I know, that be how it be. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna, you know what? I will watch so much more animes, and then I'll come back to you guys with a whole list of characters.
Well, you need to come up, have not just the characters, but to help us describe the characters so that we understand what's going on.
Yeah, I got you.
Little synopsis kind of thing.
Because
Little
TV
synopsis.
tropes is always going to beat us in big lists of characters divided by like capsule descriptions.
Yeah. I'll give you little descriptions. I need to watch Josie the Tiger and the Fish, because that's not just coded. That's just, right out there.
A sequel to The Squid and the Whale. Well,
Here you go. Josie, the tiger and the fish. Are you leaving, Gold? Bye.
yeah, I get and been putting off a business meeting for like a week, and then know the person will be free today, so I gotta get that done.
Goodness.
See. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josie the tiger and fish. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, that is a thing.
Cool. Let me share this.
We've expanded your list.
Oh,
And I figured out that I helped with the list, which I didn't know. I mean, I remember helping with the list. I just don't know what I said.
Yeah, pretty much all the
guess,
anime.
Yeah. I guess if you... I don't know, I've never seen Evangelion, but also it has a lot of depression in it. I assume. Like, all the characters are just real depressed. Oops. Sad for them. But yeah. Let me think. What other characters have I seen with disabilities that aren't in anime? Not many. Like, most of the ones I know of are in the list already. So...
cool. We had a couple more people join. Hello, Amanda and Dan. Do you have anything that you would like workshopped?
What was that last word?
What do you have anything that you
want
workshopped? Yeah.
Not for me right now.
Right,
Just
cool.
checking in.
Same at the moment. I know part of the conversation before was, maybe I made it a little late, was around anxiety-ridden characters, and I'm not sure if that has anything to do with this channel, though. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were just talking about disabled characters. We didn't have to be with, have anxiety, but that's just what we were talking about at the time. While we, sort of waited for people to join and whatever. And anxiety does count as a disability because it is it falls under mental health, which we include. But yeah, if you have anything, it doesn't have to be linked to mental health or to anxiety.
And now we're back to the quiet again.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I don't really have anything for screenwriting. I've been doing a lot more prose writing lately. So I don't have anything for you guys this week.
Same with me. I've been working on essays and drawing. So,
Okay.
like, I know there are some projects that I have on the back burner that I'm like, yeah, I need help with it, but it's not at the forefront of my mind. And I would bore you guys just as I tried to get back on track with it first. So I want to come more prepared. But
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't point the finger because I've not been writing much this week either. So I did come up with an idea, which I can talk you through. I don't know. I always feel bad talking about what I'm doing, but I guess I spoke.
We don't have anything, so and we learn, from helping too. So
Yeah, that's true. So I've been working on. I think it's going to be a feature, and sci-fi, maybe fantasy. I'm not sure. And it'd be like a disabled guy, kid figures finds out that his wheelchair is an alien, and that most of the wheelchairs on Earth are actually aliens that have emigrated from their home planet in order to escape, like, genocide, essentially. And now the threat of genocide is moving towards Earth, and so now they're gonna have to, the wheelchairs and this boys gonna have to team up and try and figure out how to stop it, essentially. So that's what I have at the moment. Yeah.
That's definitely unique. I don't think I've seen that. I mean, I'm guessing, I don't know how many, but like they've wheelchairs have turned into rocket ships in.
Oh no, but their
But
bodies
not
were
necessarily been
already.
robots. Sorry, go ahead.
So they're sentient wheelchairs, and like they are the inspiration behind humans creating wheelchairs, essentially. So they are just technically the definition of a wheelchair. These aliens, because most of them are, they're not like shapeshifters or anything like that. I was thinking, they came over here like a couple 100 years ago, rather than, they've only just moved here.
Or like maybe they like to serve, they like to help others, and there's some sort of symbiotic relationship where it's like they get something from the experience or something.
I don't know. That's a good idea, actually.
Like they're like it's maybe they're I don't know. That idea could go a lot of places.
It could. I do like that idea of it being a symbiotic relationship. That's something to think about.
I do agree. Like, I really, really love this idea, and it's very high concept. And Nacho's always said, like, high concept ideas are like the best to sell, or the or do the best.
And it's so I don't know how to get that formula, but it's like you can say it in one sentence. You said it in one sentence, and our minds went. I mean, even though we might not have the same vision, we're like, okay, I've never put those together in that way before. And it's there's a formula for it, or not a formula. We try to reverse engineer how to come up with something, but when it happens, it just happens. That's really cool. Sorry, I interrupted Willow. Go ahead.
No, you're exactly right. And I do love the like the symbiotic relationship. Like, I guess the humans are giving the wheelchairs safety and protection, and the wheelchairs are giving the humans transportation. So
they'd also have this idea of, like, because they came over like 200 years ago or something, they were the reason that disabled people stopped being locked up. They sort of guided that process of, the guiding society into being more inclusive and stuff. That's something that I want to think about, and see whether that feels right or not. I'm thinking it'd be for like 11-year-olds, so it's not going to be, so it'd be for a slightly younger audience.
Yeah, I would agree that it sounds like it'd be for a younger audience, but it still sounds fun. Yeah. I think me, like, looking at it from a character perspective to get me to believe that these are really alien creatures is understanding a little bit about their world. So, for example, take Transformers. They are not a biological creature, and I really like, there was an episode in Transformers Prime, where Bumblebee lost his. It's basically an organ. It is the biological organ that allows Transformers to transform.
Okay.
And his was stolen out of him, so he could not transform into a car anymore.
Okay.
And so I found that really, really interesting. You have these mechanical creatures who can transform, but they have kind of a biological component to them. And they also have kind of a religious kind of thing. Like, for example, they have like the Allspark that creates life and such. So for me to believe that this non-biological, I think I need to see just like a hint of the wheelchair's world or society or how their biological component. If a wheelchair built up its own society, what would that society look like? We don't actually have to go and see it, but we need to have something to reference. One thing they would they would not invent stairs. So okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Joel, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I in the program I was going to show like this kind of political thing where maybe they have to convince those in power that this is a human to help them in some way. I've not figured out how one human is going to help them. I need to think about that as well. But like the race is looking for one human to help them in some way, and they can't find anyone. And the main character, who's a disabled boy, Ryan, his wheelchair is the one that's like, you're the person, and so essentially takes him to this like parliament essentially to convince them that Ryan is the one who needs to help them. Welcome, Morgana. I'm conscious of the fact that you joined just as I said Ryan. But yeah, that's my sort of thinking at the moment.
I like it. I find it to be really fun and very original.
Cool.
Now, how would say Ryan and his wheelchair communicate? Do they speak, or is there like a telepathic link? How does
a telepathic link would be so cool. So the wheelchairs are incapable of human speech because they lack the vocal cords and stuff. But they can understand it. So I was thinking maybe like Morse code, something really rudimentary until they figure something else out, and then they'll figure out what that something else is. But yeah, that's essentially what I'm thinking at the moment. It's just Morse code for now.
Okay, cool. I got another question. And this is more kind of about the history of wheelchairs. You said that they kind of introduced wheelchairs to our society. When does this take place? Is this like in ancient times where the wheelchairs would be more fragile and more like a chair with wheels on it, or a modern day wheelchair that is much sturdy and more personalized and such?
I'm not sure. Sorry, were you talking about the species or the ones that the humans make?
Well, I'm just wondering the time period. Are we talking the hundreds?
I'm not sure right now. I'm saying for the sake of, I'm saying 200 years ago, but that's not a
Okay.
definitive number. Sorry, no, that's when they first arrived, but it's present day. Sorry, the story's
Okay,
set in
got it.
present day.
Got it. Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering.
Yeah, or maybe in the near future, but it'll be roughly present day.
Ooh.
Cool. Thank you very much, William.
I got 100 more questions, and I want to
Oh,
talk
go ahead
about
and ask. Go ahead.
who are the why are they being hunted? Who are the aliens who are hunting them?
So they're essentially like slime monsters that want to get rid of robotic like non-organic creatures, essentially.
Okay.
The opposite of like the Cybermen, essentially. Where Cybermen want to get rid of organic life and convert it into, Cybermen. These aliens want to not convert it, but just get rid of metal creatures.
Okay, that sounds like a really good idea. Why do they want to do it? Because with the Cybermen, at least a lot of the ones that I've seen, is they believe they are better by taking out emotions. They remove death. They remove pain. At least in some of the versions, Cybermen have a reason for
Yeah.
wanting to get rid of life and such. And Daleks, they believe everyone is inferior to them, right?
Mm.
So why do these slime aliens want to get rid of metallic creatures?
Maybe it's just like a similar thing to a Cyberman, that they think that because they have no flesh, they have no soul.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
So it's not really murder.
Okay. I like that.
That's not strong enough because it doesn't really explain like why kill. Like you don't go around killing ants.
Well, you would have to show why the slime monsters do have a soul, and thus they think that others will. Like,
This is a really interesting twist. If you have the biological creatures thinking they're superior because they're biological and that they have a soul, and that metallic doesn't, it flips the script on a lot of the AI stuff a little bit. Or so, but it doesn't have to be that like you think, or it's just showing a prejudice flipped around kind of, or and like yeah, I mean there's and like Wally, I mean people can totally love a little robot character.
Yeah. I rewatched that recently.
The one thing about Wally was they showed a lot of personality between him and Eve. Even like Otto, who was basically a slave to duty. They showed the personalities for their functions. My personal favorite was like this typist, and it waves its typing finger as Wally goes by. That's
Mm.
one of my favorite moments.
Yeah. It's cool how, like, even though they don't have human faces, they're able to show human emotion. I think that's something I've been thinking about as well. How do they show their emotion? Because they're aliens, what are the chances of their, like, emotion being shown the same? That's something I've been thinking about. How do they show their emotion? Is the question.
Well, you can show them being really anxious to serve the human and be ready at their call. So they're like very, very, how can I help you? They're right there by their side. Like almost like having a dog, like a disability dog. It's like they're this best.
Yeah. I'm not
Maybe,
sure.
I don't know. Okay. I don't
Just because I was thinking,
they're not
so
pets.
one of the ideas
Yeah,
I had, one of the ideas that I had was that the wheelchairs, or some of the wheelchairs, are very reluctant about being subservient to
I see.
these flesh
Oh,
creatures.
interesting.
And I'm not sure whether to make the whole or most of the race like that, or just like a faction like that. I'm not sure. That was another idea that I had, sort of.
Yeah.
They're about to go off and fight these slime creatures, but before they do that, they have to have this mini civil war sort of thing. So yeah, I'll think about it. I'm not sure how I feel at the moment.
I'm wondering if you might not have a better, how can I put this? I really, really, really like the idea of the wheelchair civil war and the and like the debate between servitude and not, and purpose and such. And I'm wondering if, like, the slime aliens hunting them down could just be like the beginning. That's the backstory of their origin. But in like today's time, maybe wheelchairs are wanting their freedom. They've gone from assisting to being more, I hate to
Independent?
say, like, yes, like, it's like, no, we want our, they want it to be their choice whether or not to serve the humans, and some want to and some don't. It would devastate the humans to lose wheelchairs. I don't know. I love the idea of a wheelchair civil war.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool.
One thing that is oh, I pardon my, I'm going to bash America right now. So my
So I
No
will see.
worries. No worries.
turn away now.
My sensibilities
Yes, exactly.
clutches flag.
We are such a egocentric society. We are all about me, me, me. And it's kind of to the point where, not, at least in some circles, having a job and working for the man is considered a negative. Well, if you want something, you should just go out and start your own business. But most people can't do that. It's not realistic. And there is nothing shameful about having a job. There is nothing shameful about working for the man or for the woman.
Yeah.
Having a job is a perfectly legitimate way to survive and such. You don't have to be ambitious that I want to be the next George Bezos or Musk or whoever.
Mm.
It's okay. What?
Oh, I have a comic, or like one of the episode ideas was the teenage girls, the kind of the neurodivergent personalities that I'm still fleshing out. But they're like, oh, they're like, you don't have to follow the masses and be what, a doctor or a lawyer or this or that. And so they're like being all imaginative and like all these really high goals. And they're like, and, they don't know how to implement any of that stuff. And like, there's this kind of teacher fellow that's like, there's no shame in working for someone else, like while you're still trying to figure out what you want to do. It's like work is a part, you want to work in a healthy environment with nice people that value you. I think we should hold standards for ourselves, and that labor needs to organize more and make sure we're given good environments. So that part of saying, I don't want to work for the man is legitimate there, but yeah, unions. And, but yeah, so no, I totally get that, where we swung to the other extreme, where there's this pressure to like everybody start a business and that's the only way to be successful. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with working if, I just wanted to echo that, but it's, go ahead. Sorry. I just wanted to jump in.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, it's kind of like, working 9 to 5 is like derogatory. I mean, even,
is it?
like,
I work 9 to 5, and nobody
no,
says
no,
touch
it's not
I'm
that.
saying you, Dan.
It's not that.
And I think it's more younger millennials and Gen Zers that are more way into that world because they grew up with that. But
right, exactly.
Anybody, if you're charismatic enough on a YouTube channel, why would you, work for the man? Or, yeah.
That is true, but it also goes the other way of people who can't, say, make it big on YouTube or something.
Right.
Then the older generation is blaming the younger generation. Well, you're just lazy. There are not a lot of options anymore. I mean, I've seen most of my job go to automation. My dream would be a 9 to 5. I would.
Here's another angle to look at this from, if I may come at it. Instead of, everybody's all like, yeah, more women in the workplace. And before you think I'm having a hot take, my issue isn't that there's women in the workplace. That I don't care about. My issue that a married couple, both parents need to be in the workplace. Back in the day, you didn't actually need to have both parents in the workplace, have 3 kids, go on big vacations, live in big suburbia townhouse.
This is absolutely true.
This is why, this isn't why I'm not against the women in the workplace. I'm just against the mindset that it's like more people want to work instead of getting into a situation where more people don't need to work and someone can actually raise a kid.
Right. I love it. That was so greatly articulated there.
Yes, and I just want to elaborate on your there that you did specifically say women and not against women or stuff like that. I can say growing up like as a teenager, what did I imagine my dream life to be? I imagined having being the breadwinner and basically my partner would be a house husband kind of thing, taking care of the house and the kids. it should be optional for either women or men who they want to be the worker and who they want to be the stayer-home.
Exactly. I would love to just be a loaf of bread while the wife works. But
Do not.
I kid. I would
Yeah.
hate myself, even if it was single.
Being a housewife or a stay-at-home mom is one of the hardest jobs. One reason why you can never get away. You could never step out for a breather. Like, it never ends. When someone comes home from work, their day is over and they can often enjoy doing things they want. A stay-at-home family member works from when they start to the end of the night. Like, not necessarily working straight through, but they don't have hours where they can just stop, turn off the work, turn off the mind, and go enjoy themselves like someone who is going to work can do. So add in more kids, and that just sounds like hell on earth to me.
Cool.
Exactly my point. It's just my point that the issue isn't people aren't working. The issue is people need to work to do what they could do what 40 years ago. You didn't need to work as ragged.
Precisely, yes.
And so this duplicitous, we need more women in the workplace, and nobody's getting at the real heart of the issue. They're skirting around it. And that is where I get my peeves.
I agree. Just I hear you. I hear you.
You want to get back to talking about American government and probably psyops and whatever, but I bet the issue is broached this way to hide from the real ugly truth. Hold on, I got to adjust my tin hat.
Yeah,
that progress is not progress. What we
the
think
women
is
in the workplace argument has absolutely nothing to do. People tend to connect them, but they have nothing to do with the fact that you need a two-parent household to be working.
right.
And makes it all the much harder and worse for single parents.
I feel like we've moved away from the point a little bit on the topic of disability. So we're going to try and gently steer us back into the right direction. Well, not necessarily the right direction,
Anyway.
but
You know what?
what
Don't
was
say it. We'll go back there.
welcome, Zach. And I feel like someone else joined us. No, I don't think so. Let's open up the floor again. Thank you, everyone, for your help. If anyone would like any help with any characters, any disabled characters, now is your chance.
No. Sorry.
Rosanna, didn't you say you had something?
I had what?
I thought you had a topic to talk about.
No, I do not.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry.
No worries. I thought you said that. I thought you said you did earlier.
Oh, that
Oh,
was
damn,
like for
Sergi.
Bochi. I already talked about Bochi.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Alright, it looks like no one has any other comment or anything they want help with. If that changes, let me know immediately, because I will always go back to helping with disability. But I do have an image that I want us to use. I love this so much. Which image should I use? I think we're going to finish early just because it seems like we don't have much else to do. So we'll just finish off with this writing prompt. And I will post it in disability feedback channel. You should all have access to it. Disability feedback. If you can't see that link that I've just posted, let me know, and I will sort that for you. Writing prompts. Oh, can't do that.
On Word or ScriptCamp? On the script.
This is on ScriptCamp. Yeah. We do have one running on WordCamp. And the deadline for that is on Friday. Hello, welcome, N. I probably said that wrong.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hello.
Right.
Just jumping in. I don't know if it's allowed or not.
Yeah, of course. You're more than welcome.
All right, just keep going. Like I'm not here.
We don't have any topics to talk about at the moment. If you're working on a disabled character and you want some help, you can ask.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is the consensus? Because like disabled characters are tricky, right? Because they have their flaws, and usually that's where we're supposed to hit them as writers, right? But disability is somewhat different because it's not something that you can change.
They absolutely should have flaws. A disability is completely separate from a character's flaws.
Yes.
Any flaw that a character can have, any flaw whatsoever, a disabled character can have as well.
Yeah, I understand that. So my question was more about like if I understand writing correctly, that it's about so your character usually has some kind of a character flaw or a disadvantage, and you just have to hammer that as hard as you can because the character needs to change that to be a better person, right? That's the whole point of how to move the character out of the comfort zone he's living in. So that's usually works with character flaws where you can change it, right? So the character goes on a journey to change themselves. But with a disability, it's trickier unless they can be healed later in the movie, and it depends on their uh, will to commit to the healing progress. So that's something I can imagine, but it's still very tricky because it's a disability could be something that cannot be said that it's a character flaw, right?
I
Sorry,
would
English is not
disagree.
my first language, so it's a bit maybe I drifted away too much.
No worries at all. I mean, we're absolutely open to discussing these sorts of topics. I would disagree because not every disabled person will want to be healed. And actually, we see that a lot in the media at the moment, where disabled people are healed, which isn't always realistic, and isn't always what disabled people in real life will want. Speaking as a disabled person, I wouldn't want to be healed because it's a big part of my identity. So I don't think that it's tricky to have the person healed. I don't think that healing a person is the easy way to do it. It's the easy way to do it. It's the wrong way to do it, is what I would say. And I think it's very important that disability is represented in the right way. And disabled people are people. Yes, they're different, but they are still people. And what a lot of writers will do is they will sort of talk about healing a person, or they'll forget that the person is a person with their own hobbies and interests and passions and wants and desires and whatever. That's what I would say, to be honest, in response to that.
Gosh.
Was there anything you would add on to that?
Yes, and I have to add a little bit. That this exact discussion is the reason why we have this workshop, is because disabilities tend to be misrepresented in media, and let's say a character's story, a disabled character's story, doesn't necessarily need to be about the disability at all. It doesn't. It can feature just as not as a flaw. It's just their normal way of life. Someone has brown hair. Someone.
I think I understand what you're trying to say. So it's I understand that it's not I don't know. So I understand that from that point of view. So we know that like living with a disability is harder, right? So that's why we try to I don't know. So help the disabled community in that sense, the abled community, because we know that there are people who are, I don't know, whatever, different, right? And that's disadvantageous. And I'm not saying that's obviously it's not a bad thing. It's a thing, right? As you said, someone has brown hair, someone has blonde hair, someone has no hair like me. So look at that. And but the thing is that so yeah, the disabilities. I would imagine if I would add a disability to a character, it would be more about the character's role in the story rather than having a disabled character, if you know what I mean.
That so absolutely works depending on the story.
Sure.
There are particular instances where that does not work. For example, a disabled character being angry and bitter, perhaps because of mistreatment or because they want to be someone else, and that bitterness turns to villainy. In that case, that never ever works. But disability is still a major part of someone's life. It still affects them, how they do things on their day-to-day basis. And so it can affect the story. It absolutely can. So let's say you have a romance. The romantic plots still hit the same beats as it would be with any kind of relationships, the ups and downs and the meeting, it still has the same relationship pitfalls, but it does have an element of extra uniqueness to it. It does have its own set of complications in addition to the normal ups and downs of, say, a romance plot. Or it may not. It depends on the world you live on. In today's realistic world, there's a lot of problems and complications surrounding disability, and which is why we are here and why we have this workshop talking about it in a more non-realistic place. Those problems don't have to be there. Those biases, the accessibility, the biases, or, well, I already said that, but it really depends on the story. It depends on the character. It depends on the disability. So anyway, sorry, go on. Joel, did you want to do a writing prompt?
Yeah, sure.
Or
mean,
does anybody?
I'm putting it off just because it's the last thing that we'll do today. So if anyone wants to jump in, do it now or forever hold your peace, sort of thing. Welcome, Samar. I see that you joined as well.
Ooh, I love the picture we have as a writing prompt. Do we?
I think we got a bit of echo there from Samar. But nice to have you here.
Are we writing in the workshop chat or in the feedback chat?
In the feedback chat, and you don't have to submit now. This is for 2 weeks. You can get started on it now, or you can submit something and then edit it. Sorry, Samar, would you mind muting just because we're getting a lot of echo from your mic? Thank you. Not sure if they heard. Let's do that for now. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, you can submit something now, and then if you want to work on it over the next 2 weeks, you absolutely can. So yeah, I will try and find it again. Sorry, I am a mess today. I have no organization skills right now. So your deadline is the 16th of June, 11 p.m. British time, which is I have no idea. I'm not even going to attempt to do maths right now. But
what time is it there now?
What's that? Sorry.
What time is it there now?
It is currently 5:30
in the evening.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody, look at your time and compare it to that time. Boom.
There's an even easier way.
And let everybody else put in their efforts as far as doing their counting.
There's another way if you want to, look at oh my brain. The post in the feedback channel, which is the writing prompt 3rd of June, Discord automatically converts the date there to your time zone. So that's even easier when you're doing any maths. But yeah, we'll work on that just to finish us off. And thank you all very much for coming.
Thanks for hosting.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
So long, everyone.